Stupid ass game froze already.
What was your childhood dream?
You know, my childhood dream was always to be or youngest person to accomplish something. Like, I would have loved to have been the youngest person ever to graduate from MIT, or the youngest person ever to travel to space. But as you grow old, you start to lose that dream, because
You're gonna be the
when you're
youngest person
9 years
voted out of
old
this thing, buddy.
and you publish an article in a physics journal, that's amazing. When you're 35 years old and you do it, you're
That's
just
work.
a nerd.
That's done. Now for the Irish broad.
You're the conductor. On a runaway trolley, there are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track which only has 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Before answering that, what you have to understand is that being run over by a trolley doesn't have to be fatal. I've survived it at least twice now, and after an extended hospital stay, I was completely fine. You just have to avoid being crushed by the wheels when you're underneath. So, in answer to your question, your morality question, of course you switch to where the one person is, because there's just not room under there for a crowd.
Well, that's a good answer.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with 1 person of your choosing, who would it be?
Is it okay to say myself? I'd pick myself. Because that one time that I was stranded on a deserted island before, it was just me, and I got used to it. I mean, when I say deserted island, it was more like one of those floating garbage piles that gather together in the ocean that Greenpeace hate. Anyway, I'd still choose me.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Certainly not. I have been ever faithful to my one true love, my husband, who I've not seen since the fishing trip, but he's my one and all.
Describe a typical day in your life.
A typical day in my life is searching for my missing daughter, Mallory. And, you know, really it is one of the big benefits to being homeless and unemployed, is that I have no ties. Hitchhiking out there, getting on the road, heading to the last town that I've heard that she was in. You know, when I get to the town, usually I find out that she's just left there suddenly. So I'll search for a soup kitchen or a dumpster, you know, get something nice to eat, and then maybe a place to shelter until I hit the road again the next morning trying to find Mallory.
Well, this lady's batshit crazy.
What would you do with the money?
I would hire a private investigator to help me find my daughter Mallory. We got separated on a fishing trip quite a few years ago now, and I spent all my time and my resources finding her, going from city to city, but she's always moved on. So, yeah, a private investigator could be life-changing for me.
What is your biggest regret?
That's easy.
There are many people I've encountered in my life who I didn't kill, even though they clearly deserved it. And now it's
Who's
too
the
late.
winner?
I wouldn't even know where to find them.
Oh, she's gonna pick the 5.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the original track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
So if I stay on the first track, I get to kill 5 people without the possibility of getting in any trouble whatsoever. But if I change tracks, I only get to kill 1. And there's a
Yeah, it saves
possibility
in
that
real
I go to
time, so I'm
prison.
not as mad.
Why would I possibly change tracks? Is this a trick question? Is there a way to kill all 6?
Peh.
If there is, I don't see it. I'd stay on the first track and settle for 5.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I found a wallet once. I looked up the owner on social media. Turned out to be some racist, sexist loser who was inexplicably married. I kept the
Yeah.
cash, and I went to return the wallet to his home when I knew he would be at work. I told his wife that he left it behind during a one-night stand.
Huh.
What is your biggest fear?
Having to get one of those normal peasant jobs. One where there's a boss to report to and a clock to punch. I tried it when I was younger, and it still gives me nightmares. Not the fun kind.
And now you can have fun nightmares.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I don't have friends, but I have betrayed people. When I was in high school, there was a girl in my class who told me she wanted to kill herself. And I could have helped her, but I didn't. And in hindsight, I do wish I had. I ran into her recently, and she's married to a loser, has 2 ugly children, and works part-time as a waitress. If I had helped her commit suicide back then, she wouldn't be suffering like that. I offered to kill her now, but apparently it's too late. She doesn't want to die anymore.
Fascinating.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by OneSock.com. Does it always seem like you have an odd number of
You
socks
mentioned
for
a
some
website,
reason?
it legally has to be there.
OneSock.com lets you
get in
buy
trouble.
one
So I'm gonna
individual
verify this.
sock so you can finally even things out. That's OneSock.com. Use offer code TRUTH, and they'll include a second sock absolutely free. Audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
That's not a real website. This game can get in trouble for mentioning that. Who am I sending home now? Oh, I should send out Mr. Talks Too Much. No way, I'm keeping her. Try again, buddy. I don't like this guy. This guy talks too much. Yeah, he's gone.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Sam.
You know, coming in, I knew I had a 1 in 6
Oh my God,
chance.
shut up.
Not
Shut
a bad
up.
chance, but not perfect. So
Shut up.
I'm not surprised I have to go home.
Go away. Shut up. This trophy. Alright. What's his favorite holiday?
What is your favorite holiday?
Well, when I was growing up, it was Christmas, hands down. Probably every kid's favorite holiday growing up. But now it's Thanksgiving, for sure. You know, day off from work, food, lots of good food, and football. My 3 favorite things.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I mean, if there was cash in the wallet, I'd keep that. You know, finders keepers. But yeah, I'd return the wallet. I've actually heard if you put a rubber band around the wallet and drop it in the mailbox, the post office will return it. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, that's what I do.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Fart noise.
Don't marry Annie, my ex-wife. God, I doubt my younger self would listen to me because she's still smoking hot, but yeah, that's the advice I'd give, you know. I mean, we were high school sweethearts, and I thought it was going to be great, but boy, was I wrong. Oh, she's a nightmare, and now I'm stuck paying alimony. Lucky me.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Have I ever cheated? In my entire life, like cheated? Of course I have. Who hasn't? I mean, everyone cheats. I've been cheated on by girls. I've cheated on girls. I mean, that's just life, man. Everyone cheats.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love bad movies. You know, movies that are so bad that then they're good. Because it's just like so entertaining how bad they are. Like Sharknado. That shit sucks, but it's good, you know? Or like, what does the fox say? Oh, that's a song, but, you know, it's so bad that I like that song, you know? Stuff like that, yeah. Bad things become good things. For me.
Well, he's done.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Shape-shifting. If I could shape-shift, I wouldn't have to work out and watch this figure.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm a really good cook. If I had to live in the old days where people had to cook their own meals, I could buy just fine.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Okay. There's this James Bond movie called The World Is Not Enough, where Denise Richards plays a physicist. Everyone was making fun of it, saying that she did a terrible job and that it was sexist of them to cast her. Here's the thing. She did fine. If she was more plain looking, I guarantee nobody would have said anything. The people who are saying that it was sexist are the sexist ones. They don't believe that a woman can be hot and smart enough to be a scientist. And that's the most sexist thing you can do.
What was your childhood dream?
I'm a huge Disney fan. When I was growing up, all I ever wanted to do was date a prince and live happily ever after. Then I grew up, and I realized how unrealistic that fantasy is. I've dated a prince, and they're not charming like in the movies.
She's rich. She don't need the money. She'll go soon.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who do not have time to get off the tracks. If you continue forward, you will run over all 5 and they will die. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you choose to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the one person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
I don't know anything about trolleys, but if I had a job driving one, I'm sure that they would teach me how to handle that situation in trolley school.
So she's a complete moron.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love window shopping at those really fancy stores that only rich people shop at. Like Walmart, I go and I look and I think,
You shop at
if
Walmart.
I was wealthy,
You're
I
white
could have
trash.
that and that and that. It would be so glamorous if I could really afford to buy things there, but, you know, who can?
Everybody.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh gosh, there's been quite a few things in my life that are embarrassing, but you know those people on trains that go around checking everyone's tickets that they've got the right tickets? Well, it was my high school reunion and I pretended that I was one of those people, that was my job, so that everyone would think I was really successful. But then it turned out in the group there was somebody who was a real ticket checker and they told everyone that I wasn't. They didn't, I didn't have that job. They knew I didn't, they never saw me at work. It was so embarrassing. They really dropped me in it.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
Absolutely, I would return a wallet. I mean, if I was ever lucky enough to own something as precious as a wallet, I would really hope that someone would return mine to me if I ever lost it.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, I would tell my younger self to stay away from drugs. I did far too many pharmaceutical studies. I was warned, don't do more than one at the same time, but the money was so good. I got greedy and I signed up for 18. Most of the horrific side effects have faded over time. However, I still get terrible hallucinations when I pee, and it hurts real bad to my left eye when I blink.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I was a world record holder. I was the last known person to contract smallpox. For a week, somebody else did get it after me. I don't know their name. I mean, I don't really remember the week because I did have a terrible fever and a really itchy rash, but They say everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, and that was mine.
All right.
What would you do with the money?
I'd start my own cult, dedicated to summoning Cthulhu and bringing about the end of days.
Fascinating.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
When I was 6 years old, my parents forced me to attend the birthday party of the girl who lived next door. They fed me copious amounts of candies, cakes, ice cream.
So
I got
frumpy.
caught up in such a sugar rush, I actually participated in their games. The worst part was, afterwards, many of these peasants actually thought we were friends.
Have you cheated on anyone?
Of course I have. I don't answer to men. If I choose to hook up with a guy, he should be eternally grateful. I certainly don't have any obligations to him afterwards.
What do you do for a living?
I have a small stand in Hollywood where I read people's fortunes from tarot cards. Now, tarot cards don't actually predict the future,
God,
but
look
most
at all
people don't
weird
know that.
rings.
Most fortune tellers will also keep their predictions vague so they can't get caught when they're lying. I don't do that. I tell all of my customers that they're going to die in a horrific car crash about 2 years out from the day they come see me. I love seeing their reactions. Plus, the really stupid ones pay for longer sessions so they can ask me a bunch of follow-up questions.
Savage.
What's the most serious law
Whoa,
you have
that's
ever
savage right there.
broken?
See, the problem with that question is that you need to be caught, tried, and convicted for you to be breaking the law. Now, say I shoot someone. Was it self-defense? Was it manslaughter? Was it murder? Until it gets in front of a jury, we just don't know. And I'm not dumb enough to get caught and have to be put in front of a jury.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by placebos. Are you a hypochondriac? Ask your doctor if placebos are right for you. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
Alright. Divorced Fonzie. Rich dumbass. Weird chick. Really weird chick. It's gotta be a chick. We can't. Gotta keep the guy for a bit. Ugh. Rich girl. Homeless girl. Chick I would have dated 20 years ago. We'll send her home.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Claire. Oh, I am so sorry, Claire.
Oh, that That's okay. Thanks so much for having me. It's just been so exciting to be here, and I've never won anything, so I didn't expect to win today anyway, but I'm just glad I could take part.
Trophy.
What is your biggest regret?
Marrying my high school sweetheart. My ex-wife. Ex-wife. No more. No thank you. Yeah, we were miserable. And now I pay alimony every month.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Yeah, so I was the toughest kid in my high school, right? Everybody knew that about me. There was this guy, though. He was 6'8", freakishly tall, big guy. Everyone was like, oh, he's tough, like, oh, he could take you. I hated that. Bullshit. So, plus the guy, he was in honors classes. He must have been a nerd. No way he could take me. One day, it got to me. I called him out in the hallway. I egged him on. He didn't want to fight. I said, let's go. Not only did he beat my ass, but he beat it so badly. It was just, I was bruising for days, man. Best part is, though, we became best friends, and yeah, the rest is history. I don't know, I picked a fight with a giant, got my ass beat. That was stupid. Yeah, that was stupid.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
Well, my first thought's Margot Robbie, but she has kids, and I'm not going to separate a mother from her kids, so Megan Fox.
Megan Fox has kids too.
Bummer. Does Dua Lipa have kids?
I don't think so.
Dua Lipa, then. Final answer.
Fast day.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you decide to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the one person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Wait, I'm a trolley conductor for a living? How did I end up doing that to make ends meet? I mean, geez, forget the people on the tracks. If I ever sank so low I'm driving a trolley, I'd probably jump in front of it just to end my miserable life. Jeez. No thanks.
You didn't even answer the question.
What were you like as a child?
I was just like every other kid. I played with toys. I watched cartoons. I mean, what else would you expect me to say to that?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
I once bought this outfit and I posted on Instagram, #newoutfit. What I didn't realize is that I posted in the same exact outfit that I bought a few months earlier. People thought I was lying, but I just forgot that I bought the same outfit. People still bring it up in the comments to this day.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I sorta stole someone's boyfriend once. Well, it wasn't her boyfriend. My friend Brooke had a really big crush on this musician, and I told her to DM him, but she was too nervous to, so I DM'd him for her. He wasn't interested in her, so he ended up asking me out, and we dated for a bit. I can tell it made my friend a little uncomfortable, so that was one of the reasons why I broke up with him.
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
I used to have steaks flown in from this place that I love in France. I stopped when I found out it was illegal to import meats. I don't know how serious of a crime that is, but I'm glad I never found out the hard way.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
Pet peeve. When my chihuahua poops in my purse. I carry her around everywhere in my bag. I wish they made, like, a harness so I can carry her around like a purse. And then they had pockets, so I wouldn't need another purse at all.
You're stupid.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an Instagram model. I still live with my parents, but I can move out if I wanted to. Our house is so big that I feel like it would be a waste to move out. We have so many empty rooms, I'm not even sure if I've seen them all.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm an expert at falconry. I have a small collection of extremely well-trained birds of prey. I find owls to be particularly useful.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
I hate it when people whistle. Or sing. Or hum. Or smile. Or breathe.
What's your proudest accomplishment?
I once had these neighbors who liked to hang outside on their porch all day, blaring terrible music. I thought I could take a bat to their stereo myself and end it, but they, of course, had cameras. So I took a picture of their stereo and posted it to Craigslist under the free stuff category. Got somebody else just to take the whole stereo away. As a bonus, they also took all of their patio furniture.
Wow.
They never hung around outside after that.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Supreme ruler of Earth. You said any job. Who wouldn't want to rule Earth? If anybody says anything else, they're lying, and their lie detector should go off. Totalitarianism can be a very effective form of government with the right ruler. Look at Vlad the Impaler. Sure, he has his critics. Some have said his methods were too harsh. But look at his empire and how smoothly it was run. Hardly any crime. I could do that. I could be the next Vlad the Impaler.
And what is your favorite holiday?
I think it's a tie between Memorial Day. There's more murders in the US on Memorial Day than any other day of the year. And All Hallows Eve, when the boundaries between the land of the living and the land of the dead are
What a
thinnest.
surprise.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter K. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant
All right,
you think
let's
should
go
be going
home.
home.
Fonzie, dumb rich girl, goth girl. You know what? No, she's gonna win. I think her ending would be the funniest. She don't need the money, so I must send her home.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Alexis.
That's okay. This was fun. And isn't that the point of a game show?
Because I am the president of the stream.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Oh man, dude. For years, my friend John used to sell my friend Keith weed, but it wasn't weed, it was kale. Like, he would sell him kale instead of weed. And yeah, Keith didn't know. Like, for years, I was watching Keith, like, pack bongs with kale, and that wasn't working. So then he would, like, make kale brownies, and he had no idea. And yeah, I should have told him, but it was just too funny.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I wake up, I eat, I go to work, I come home, I eat, I watch TV,
Don't be jealous.
and then I go to bed.
What is your happiest memory?
Watching the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I've been an Eagles fan my entire life, and I was beginning to think I'd never see them win a Super Bowl, okay? Not only did they win, but they won in a shootout against Tom Brady in a game that had more offensive yards than any other game in history, even regular season games, in history. And they did it with their backup quarterback. It was amazing.
What do you do for a living?
I work at a distribution center where I drive a forklift. Pays pretty decent, and I get good overtime.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Sports commentator.
It's right here.
I'm pretty sure you can only do that if you're like an ex-athlete, but if I could somehow get that job, I'd love it.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't ever join a witch coven. It'll seem like a good idea at the time. But the people calling themselves witches these days, they aren't practicing real witchcraft. They're such a disappointment.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
Jeff Tucker. He's an old boss of mine. I really hate him. If he were trapped on that island with me, I could torture him endlessly, and he'd have no chance to escape. I could be entertained for years that way.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Necromancy. Anyone can take a living person, turn them into a dead one. To take a dead one, turn them
I
back
can
into
have
a living
haircuts
one.
wherever I want.
That would really be something. Just imagine somebody. You could kill them, Bring them back. Kill them again. Bring them back. Kill them again.
Your tater tots are shit.
And then they'd have to live with the anticipation, knowing that eventually you're going to find them. They just don't know when. They don't know how. Plus, having your own Legion of the Undead would be pretty useful.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I wake up, I eat breakfast, I feed my familiars, I go to work. When I get home, I like to relax and work on my bug collection.
What is your happiest memory?
When I was in the 4th grade, our teacher had a seizure in front of the whole class and died. We got to go home early. It was a double win.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Vegas Tales, the full-motion video game from the makers of Truth. A wealthy resort owner is dying and needs you to help decide who
I have
should
this
inherit
game on my
his
stream.
estate. You'll be interviewing some over-the-top characters and helping choose who will become extremely wealthy. Be careful, as there may be more to some than meets the eye. Vegas Tales is available now on your favorite gaming platform.
Probably.
Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
Bye, Joe.
The votes are in. The $1 million prize is going to Lilith.
Maybe there's hope for this audience yet. May Cthulhu's judgment upon you be swift.
Nice. Hello. They learned the most powerful magic of all, friendship. That's more important than money. So I did a good thing today. Are you jealous?
Welcome to Truth, the game show where we award a $1 million prize to the contestant chosen by our audience.
Oh, so now you can just start over. Okay. That's cool. I'll come back and speedrun through the rest next time. First, I'm gonna go try and summon Cthulhu. Wish me luck.